You've probably heard of sinking funds, but let's be honest, the name alone sounds depressing. Saving money shouldn't feel like your budget is going down with the ship. Today I'm sharing why I ditched the whole idea of what everyone else thinks of as sinking funds and what I use instead to build savings that actually supports my life. I'm Rose Colburn and welcome to the 30-Day Budgeting Challenge, where I'm giving you one quick tip every day to help you take control of your money. Sinking funds are supposed to help you plan ahead, right? Save a little each month so you're not caught off guard by car repairs, holidays, or back-to-school shopping. Sounds smart in theory, but in real life, most people either forget to fund them, use them inconsistently, or just feel totally disconnected for them. Let's be real. Some of these categories are just flat out boring. You're saving for tags, tires, and taxes, and there's zero emotional connection. Even the name sinking funds sounds like something you should avoid. It feels like money that's going nowhere, just sitting there for things you don't even want to buy. The biggest problem I see with the people that I work with is that they're just done with all the stuff about traditional advice. It doesn't work for them, and now they feel totally disconnected from anything to do with budgeting, managing their finances, and building wealth. And that's a huge problem, because when it comes to sinking funds, they're supposed to be something that help you save for the future and plan ahead. But sinking funds just don't feel like they align with real life. They become forgotten and never used. So what happens? Life throws something at you, and instead of using your sinking fund, you're reaching for the credit card again. It's not because you're bad with money, it's because traditional budgeting and financial advice isn't working for you and doesn't connect with your real life, your real goals, and your real values. So let's fix that today. Like a lot of other people in the personal finance world, I used to call these categories sinking funds. But if I'm honest, it never felt good. I knew I needed to save for expenses that pop up every few months or just once a year, but the whole idea of sinking money into something always felt a little off. I struggled with the whole idea of sinking funds for a long time until I finally came to the realization that in every other area of my personal finances, my biggest breakthroughs always came from shifting my mindset. It wasn't until I started paying attention to my mindset that I realized language matters. Because the term sinking funds, it sounds cold and corporate and honestly like something that's failing. The only thing I can think of that sinking is a good thing is on the basketball court. The phrase actually comes from the 18th century when the British government started sinking money into repaying its debt. It was later used by corporations to describe setting aside money to pay off bonds, and eventually that strategy trickled down into personal finance. I don't know about you, but hand-me-downs never felt good. And this whole idea of sinking funds is a hand-me-down from a government and then a corporate financial strategy. And it left me feeling disconnected from my purpose of setting aside money for specific expenses. And that's when I decided to start calling it Purposeful Savings. Because when I look at my financial strategy, I want it to be purposeful, to reflect my values, my goals, and my life. Now, you might think it's just a prettier name, and that's okay. If sinking funds works for you, then use it. But for me, Purposeful Savings is more than a pretty name. It's a mindset shift. It reminds me why I'm setting money aside. It's not about obligation, it's about alignment and purpose. It's still savings, but with intention behind it. So how does that intention actually solve the problems that we just talked about? Let's break it down. First of all, you feel disconnected. And that's a huge problem if you're not connected to your financial strategy. Honestly, it's the root of all the other problems. If you don't feel like saving for the things that are supposed to be part of your purposeful savings, then you simply won't do it. And part of it is because most financial experts mention things like tags, tires, and taxes, vet bills, insurance, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's just yuck. When's the last time you heard a financial expert recommend using your purposeful savings, sinking funds for a family vacation. Sure, some of them might mention gifts or Christmas shopping or back to school shopping, but let's be real. I just saw a snippet from a Dave Ramsey video the other day where he told someone that if they haven't completed step number whatever of his baby steps rubbish, that they have no business taking a vacation. That's bullcrap. You have a life and you deserve to enjoy it. Yeah, I get his point. Taking a vacation while you have debt means it'll take a little longer. But here's the reality. Life is more than working, paying off debt, and dying with money in the bank, because money isn't math. It's meaning. When you save for things that reflect your goals, values, and intentions, you're not just building a financial buffer. You're building momentum. You're building alignment. You're building a life you actually want to live. So yes, start with the categories that are essential so that you're prepared for those expenses when they come up. But then also include categories that make your life worth living. Now let's talk about the second problem. You forget to fund your purposeful savings. That's not because you're lazy. Part of the problem is exactly what we just talked about. If you're not emotionally connected to what you're saving for, it'll never feel urgent or important. But the other part, you don't have a system that makes it easy. You can't just say, I'll save whatever's left over. I'll save when I have some extra. Spoiler alert, there's never anything extra. That's where purposeful savings becomes a strategy, not just a vibe. You choose a small amount and make it automatic. $10 here, $25 there, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever fits your flow. The important thing is to remember to save enough to fund all the categories that fit your goals and values. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency, because every time you fund a category that reflects your life and your goals, you're reinforcing that your future matters. You're not waiting to feel ready, you're building readiness now. And now that brings us to the last problem, which is you forget to use them. You don't use them when the time comes. Now this one's tricky. Sometimes you have a category for an expense, but when the moment comes, you either forget it exists or you use the money for something else. And I get it. Life happens. But here are two simple fixes that make a big difference. First of all, make your categories visible. Whether that's a whiteboard, a journal, a notes app, or a printed tracker, maybe even using sticky notes. Just don't keep it locked away in your head or hidden in your bank account. Seeing your categories keeps them real. Second, build on a reset. Pick a time, once a week, once a month, to check in. Look at your categories. Update your balances. See what's growing. Watch what's happening. Even if you only add $5 this week, celebrate it. Momentum matters. The key is to be intentional and to remember to have clarity about what you're doing. And the more intentional you are, the less likely you'll be to raid your savings out of impulse or panic, because you'll already have a plan. So your challenge today, don't just rename your sinking funds. Reimagine them. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to feel prepared? What do I need to do to connect this to my life? What do I need to feel peace? What do I need to feel alive? Then build your categories from there. Start with the 3 budgeting buckets that we've been using throughout this challenge. First is the essential family needs, and these are your must-haves, like upcoming car repairs that you're planning, medical deductibles or regular costs, vet bills, property taxes, anything that keeps your life stable and running smoothly. Surprise costs, the stuff that always seems to pop up when you least expect it. Field trips, birthdays, invites. Your kid came home for holiday break from college and surprise, they have a sweetheart joining them for Christmas and you need a gift, which you've planned for because you have a gifts category in your purposeful savings. And your sanity bucket. And no, this isn't just for moms. It's for anyone who needs a mental health breather now and then. Maybe it's a family vacation or even a solo vacation, or planning for little gifts for yourself that you want to buy. If it's a part of your life It deserves a line in your budget. You don't need 10 different categories to start. You can build your systems with just those 3 buckets. One to protect you, one to support you, and one to refill your cup. That's purposeful savings. It's not about the name, it's about alignment. Because when your savings plan reflects your real life, you can stop relying on credit cards. You build momentum and you actually feel in control of your money. If you're tired of saving for things that feel like a burden, this is your sign from the universe to try something new. Your money should support the life you're building, not drain the fun out of the life you already have. But if you're stuck living paycheck to paycheck, getting started with purposeful savings might seem like it's out of reach. So check out this video next. And join me again tomorrow as we continue the 30-day budgeting challenge. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.